Israel, the so-called ally that's cost America billions, dictated foreign policy, and dragged this country into conflicts we never needed to fight. For decades, Israel has played America like a fool, using guilt, religion, and politics to get whatever it wants. We're told the U.S.-Israel relationship is sacred, unbreakable, and essential. But behind that facade lies a story of manipulation, influence, and cold-blooded strategy that's cost Americans money, integrity, and global credibility. Let's start with the illusion of friendship. The American people have been conditioned to believe that Israel is a vital democratic partner in a hostile region, that without Israel chaos would reign in the Middle East. But what we rarely discuss is how one-sided this friendship really is. Every year, America sends Israel over $3.8 billion in taxpayer money, no questions asked. That's more than we give to any other nation. And while Americans struggle to afford healthcare, housing, and education, Israel thrives on a never-ending stream of U.S. aid, weapons, and political protection. How did we get here? The answer begins after World War II, when the world witnessed the horrors of the Holocaust. The guilt of nations became Israel's greatest bargaining chip. America, eager to prove its moral strength, threw its weight behind the new Israeli state. But sympathy turned into silence. Silence about human rights abuses, illegal settlements, and military occupations. Israel quickly learned that America's conscience could be weaponized. The rise of powerful lobbying organizations like AIPAC turned that moral leverage into political dominance. AIPAC perfected the art of influence, reward the obedient, destroy the defiant. Politicians learned early that criticizing Israel was career suicide. Campaign donations would vanish overnight. Smear campaigns would erupt, labeling them anti-Semitic. Careers would end before a single vote was cast. And so, Democrats and Republicans alike bowed their heads, reciting the same talking points about Israel's right to defend itself, even as bombs fell on civilians in Gaza. This is not partnership, it's political blackmail wrapped in the language of loyalty. Israel doesn't need to threaten anyone openly. It has networks of donors, media allies, and think tanks that do the work for it. In Washington, support for Israel isn't debated, it's mandatory. Votes for military aid pass by overwhelming margins, not because Congress is united, but because they're terrified. Then there's the media, America's most powerful storytelling machine. For decades, major news outlets have parroted Israel's narrative almost word for word. When Palestinians die, it's retaliation. When Israel attacks, it's self-defense. American audiences rarely see the occupied territories, the checkpoints, or the rubble left behind, and when brave journalists dare to show the truth, they're silenced, reassigned, or labeled biased. The result? Generations of Americans grow up thinking Israel is David, and Palestine is Goliath. Meanwhile, the U.S. military-industrial complex benefits from the arrangement. That billions in aid to Israel don't vanish, they circulate. The funds come back through joint weapons projects, intelligence sharing, and surveillance programs. American defense companies partner with Israeli firms to develop new drones, spyware, and border technologies that later get sold around the world. War has become a business, and Israel is both client and salesman. And yet, the moral cost keeps rising. Israel calls itself the Middle East's only democracy, but the reality on the ground looks more like apartheid. Entire generations of Palestinians have grown up behind walls, under occupation, denied basic freedoms. Homes are demolished to make room for new Israeli settlements. Families are divided by checkpoints. Humanitarian groups cry out, but America turns its back. Every veto at the United Nations shields Israel from accountability. Every US-made bomb that lands on Gaza bears our fingerprints. So why do Americans stay silent? Partly because our leaders are bought, but also because our citizens have been conditioned to equate supporting Israel with righteousness. Religion has been woven into politics. Politicians invoke biblical promises to justify modern-day injustice. And many Americans, worn down by misinformation, accept the myth that questioning Israel means rejecting faith or morality. It's not just manipulation, it's psychological warfare. Think about the absurdity. The richest, most powerful nation on earth acts like a subordinate to a much smaller country. Our foreign policy bends to Israel's interests, even when it harms our own. We've fought wars that destabilized the region, lost thousands of American lives, and spent trillions, all while Israel expanded its influence and played the victim. But the cracks are starting to show. Younger generations of Americans are seeing through the narrative. They're asking uncomfortable questions. Why are we funding endless conflict? Why are our politicians afraid to criticize a foreign government? Why is our media complicit in covering up war crimes? The truth is surfacing, and it's shaking the establishment to its core. Because Israel didn't conquer America with tanks or soldiers, it conquered it with influence, with money, lobbying, and manipulation. It turned America into its personal bodyguard and banker. And the saddest part? It didn't have to be this way. Real friendship between nations is built on equality and honesty, not exploitation and deceit. The day America wakes up and reclaims its independence from foreign influence will be the day true peace has a chance. Until then, we remain trapped in a relationship where loyalty is demanded, truth is punished, and justice is delayed. Israel didn't just con America, it mastered it. And unless we have the courage to confront that reality, this illusion of shared values will continue to cost lives, money, and moral credibility. You've been watching the broken news where we don't bend to the narrative, we break it. Because truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the first step toward freedom.